In this video, I'm going to show you how I created the lightning in my Happy Halloween video. Let's watch the video and then I'll go into it step by step. So the lightning is made up of three parts: the sound effect, the rounded rectangle, which we add some animation to, and the group that holds the actual lightning itself, along with its effects. So let's start off with the lightning group. The lightning group is made up of two paths. The top path is the actual lightning itself. The bottom path is a duplicate of the top one, but that one is blurred. And I'll show you the settings for that in just a moment. So first, I'm going to show you how I drew the lightning using the pen tool. Once I have the lightning drawn, I make the inner part yellow and the outside white, also known as the fill and the stroke. I went ahead and reshaped the lightning so it looks more like the one on the right now. So next, I duplicated my lightning path, so now I have two that are exactly the same. So this duplicate is to create a blurred version of the actual lightning itself to give it a glowing effect. I blurred it by going to the Effects and Components tab. I selected the Effects tab, and I scrolled down and grabbed the blur effect and dragged that onto the path. And I adjusted the strength to 50%. Now we're going to work on the actual lightning itself. That's the top path. So for this piece, we're going to be adding some turbulence to this path to make the edges jagged. We'll do it the same way we did with the blur effect. We go into our Effects and Components, into the Effects tab, scroll down until we see turbulence, and drag that onto our path on the timeline. The settings for the turbulence are scale 36, frequency 20, direction 135 degrees, speed 11%. The next part is the tricky part. It's making the lightning descend from the sky down to the ground and then back up again. And for this, we're going to use a rounded rectangle as well as some animation. And I'm going to show you first how it looks, and then I'll explain how I did it. So in order for this to look real, the animation has to take place quickly. and I have mine set up to about 3/4 of a second. In total, the clip is 2 seconds because you have the sound that lingers after the lightning, but the lightning itself only takes place over about 3/4 of a second. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add a rounded rectangle to our canvas, and we're going to shrink it down to approximately the size that we need for the lightning. The time length of your rounded rectangle should be approximately 3/4 of a second. You're going to add 2 distortion animations to your timeline with easing as linear, as you can see here. The next step is going to be to set up your keyframes. As you can see by the blue arrows, there's one that starts at the beginning where your box should be completely closed. There's one at the end where the box should be completely open, and then there's an arrow in the middle just to show you that about halfway, it should be open about halfway. There's also a section where everything kind of stops for a split second, and then the box is going to shrink as you go from the second section to the end of the last keyframe. The next step is setting up your track mat. Click on your lightning group, then click on settings, then on track mat, and then select rounded rectangle from the drop-down list, and then don't forget to click alpha. Now you just need to add a thunder sound effect, and you should be good to go. Here's an extra tip. If you take your 3 items and you group them in a group, you can then right-click on that group and say save it to my scenes. That way, anytime you need lightning in one of your videos, you can just go to your scenes, drag it into your timeline, and you've got... Well, that's the end of this tutorial. Please don't forget to like, subscribe. It really helps me out and it gets this video in front of more people.